Hey, Danny, welcome back to the Church Guy in the Attic. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too, my friend. How are you?
Good. So this is continuing a conversation and dialogue between me and Danny, and the name of the show is The Church Guy in the Attic. You can reach us at thechurchguyintheattic@gmail.com. If you have any questions for either one of us. And yeah, so I'm Don, and I'm the Church Guy.
You just froze there. But anyway, uh,
I'm
what
Don, and
was
I'm
it?
the Church Guy.
Oh, sorry. I'm Danny and I'm the addict. And anyway, before we go any further,
Yeah.
I just want to say on our last episode, I talked about someone who had a resentment towards me, and I didn't really want to talk about it, but I prayed about it and I meditated about it, and I think it's important to talk about it.
Hmm.
So, and I want to be transparent, that's the whole thing with this. So it might help someone who's an addict or an alcoholic or even a church person or what have you. But anyway, um, what I didn't want to talk about a resentment that someone had towards me, and that's my youngest daughter. And, you know, uh, I might be clean and sober for a few 24 hours, if you will, but, you know, uh, her resentment towards me is a valid one. I'm not going to say it's not valid. It's valid. She felt neglected, because I wasn't around, and then
Hmm.
I went away to recovery, and I kept in touch, but she just felt abandoned and stuff like that, and I'm not going to badmouth her mother, but she really didn't feel like she had a fatherly figure, and she didn't. But even in my times of addiction, like if I had $500, in my hand, and my plan was to get that new dress for her and the new shoes and the card, and make a special day for her, and then by the end of the day, she didn't even get the card, so I understand her resentment towards me. But all I can do is be the best man I can be today. And they say in God's time things will happen, and I hope, you know, I hope it's not me lying on a deathbed one day, and then I have a relationship with my daughter. And I'm a healthy man today, and I'm hoping that God's time will come quicker.
Hmm.
But that's a lot of the pain and remorse and guilt that can keep those who are still actively using, to continue using, and or those who are in recovery to just say, "Oh, I give up," and pick up again. But once again, through great sponsorship and truth be known, my dad died when I was young, so I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I had no idea really how to be a fatherly role model, if you will. I thought money was always the answer to those kind of problems.
Hmm.
So I've learned a lot since then, and I'll always be there for my daughter. All I, is she just one phone call away from me
Hmm.
doing whatever I can do to help.
Well,
Whatever's happening.
it's interesting, Danny, because in that last video we did, I didn't want to press you. I wasn't sure who you were talking about when you said there was, still an open wound there.
Mm,
And so, thank you for, making the decision to for full disclosure on that. It is important because I think it helps. Just if we're going to be authentic, if I'm even as me as the church guy, you as the addict, there's people that need to hear that kind of stuff because that's the heart of it. That's, I think, would you say, even sometimes the reason why people pick up again or, you know, drink or
yeah.
use because of
Okay.
something like that, a situation in their life or an unresolved relationship, especially with a child of yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's older now. She's 24 now, and
Mm.
and I'm sure she understands a little of addiction. She's a very smart woman. I'm not going to call her a little girl. She's not a little girl no more. But she's all A pluses in university, and I know she took social work and different things like that. So I I don't know. Let's hope she understands that what I did had nothing to do with me not loving her. It had a lot to do with me just being sick, and that's why they call it a disease. And I'm
Mm.
not leaning on that either. I did what I had to do to understand that I can't drink or drug safely anymore. So we talked about, can I have one beer or one line or one joint or one? The answer is no. And maybe one day when the time is right in my daughter's life, that she'll know that, hopefully she'll watch this and understand that, I was in a lot of pain doing what I was doing, and I can't change that, but I can change today,
Yeah.
and that's I hope, once again, that it gives hope to whether you're an addict out there, an alcoholic, that life is changeable, and we're very lucky to have this fellowship because, hey, let's face it, I got a second kick at the can at life,
Mm.
and I can definitely change uh, the mistakes I made in my past so I don't have to make them again today,
Okay.
or in the future.
Well, Danny, when you think about it, you've been clean and sober for 17 years. She's 24. So she was in her formative years when you were at probably your more extreme using time in your life. Um,
Yeah.
so, I mean, how does it, like speaking from, um, or maybe from, other people's point of view, not just yours, how do people deal with stuff like that? I mean, that's that's heart-wrenching stuff to try to reconcile with your little girl who's now 24 years old. Like, for other people, what advice do you give them? Do you carry on? Do you hope for that in the future, but just still persevere in your sobriety?
Well, that's the importance of working the steps to the best of your ability.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there are going to be people in my life, not talking about my daughter, just people in my life that are not going to accept me or like me for who I am, and that's really none of my business what they think of me.
Mhm.
My business is what I think of me, and if I've been honest and I've been caring and I've been truthful and I've been going to work every day and doing what I have to do to look myself in the mirror and say, today I did the best I could do today, and I could be the best I could be today, whether it's helping someone who's in recovery or not in recovery, or even a neighbor who might need a hand moving some furniture in their house, or whatever the situation may be. Like, if
Right.
I know at the end of the day that I've been the best Danny that God wants me to be today, then it's none of my business what other people think of me. But once again, the steps are so important because it resolves a lot of that shame, remorse, guilt, bitterness, and all the stuff I did before. Because, Don, let's face it, I can't change my past.
Right.
As much as I wish I could wave this magic wand and everybody would be happy and my daughter would never feel neglected,
Mhm.
or abandoned, or, just feeling alone, because a lot of parents or a lot of families, sorry, have two parents, and through those years when I was using, I didn't even have a phone number to be contacted with. So if there was an emergency or something like that, with my daughter, so I wouldn't have known because I didn't have a phone. Or even a home to have a phone in, kind of thing, or a cell phone or whatever, so.
Yeah. You had said something to me about people that live in the past. Um, well, I can't remember what it was. It was an illustration about the past versus the future.
Yeah. Well, most people who are
One
addicted,
foot in the past or something like that.
yeah, it's something I learned in recovery, that if you have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, you're peeing all over today. which
Mm,
basically means you're not enjoying the moment, the present, and that's why they call it the present. The present is a gift, if you think about it,
mm,
right? The present,
yeah,
right? So, I can't change yesterday, and I can't change, well, I can probably do a little bit better for tomorrow,
right.
but I have to live in today. And, this program is a 24-hour a day program, so
Yeah.
if someone's new in recovery, let's say, and they woke up at 6 in the morning and I got up at 8, well, they have more sobriety than me today because it's a 24-hour day program. So years, it
Mm,
doesn't matter,
I say, yeah.
you know, months doesn't matter.
Because I imagine that a lot of our history, I mean, even from, from my point of view, stuff we've done in the past um, causes us to make poor decisions for today and for the future. And I imagine a lot of people that are in recovery, if they have a relationship like that, could use that to go out and get drunk.
Yeah.
Blame their
But
situation on somebody else and pick up.
yeah, well, there's a saying in the program, pour me another drink,
Right.
and, self-forgiveness is important. But once again, this is a spiritual program, you know, and thank God that my God has forgiven me for the things I've done in my past. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things I'm not proud about, but I don't let that rule me today other than with my choices. If I know
Yeah.
that this is going to be a poor choice that might affect myself or my family, then I'm not going to make that choice today. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
The choice I'm going to make today is going to be the choice that's right. Like our parents taught us, at least for myself, right and wrong. They told me, that's a store. You don't steal from that store. You,
Mm.
you buy whatever in that store. And as I grew up, I put those morals and values aside, and because I needed alcohol, let's say, you know,
Mm.
and so I walked into the liquor store and I'd steal from there, right? You know,
Mm.
because I had to do what I had to do, right? You know, so my point being is today when I walk into a store, if I don't have the money in my pocket or a card to pay for it or whatever, I'm not in that store.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna steal whatever, uh, whether I have the money or I don't. It's wrong, right? That's
Yeah.
what the program teaches me. It teaches me black and white, right and wrong. I can't justify even something as simple as I gave, let's say, a $10 bill for a chocolate bar, and the person's giving me change back for a $20 bill. My program teaches, because it's happened to me.
Yeah.
And my program teaches me to say, "Oh, I think you gave me too much money because I gave you a 10, not a 20." And
Mm.
they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're that honest to say that." But see, Don, that's the thing. See, if I start slipping and just something as little as that, then I'm leading my life back again to the wrong. And so eventually I'm going to be doing wrong. And I'm not saying I'm saintly. All I'm just trying to say is I'm doing what's right today. And if it means saying you gave me too much change back, if that's going to keep me sober today, then I'm going to say you gave me too much change back. And that's what I've been taught in this program. I have
Well,
to
that's
live right or wrong. It's
yeah.
black and white. It's if they're giving me too much money and I know that, I got to say it.
Yeah.
And if I don't say it, then that's leading me closer to a drink.
But that's good advice for anybody. It's interesting. I think you've said this to me in the past that all Christians should go through the 12 steps because I think what you just described is a way to be honest with yourself and identify when you're sort of off track in
Mm,
order to bring yourself back. And even in our relationship with God, there's times when we stray. We go astray. We're not obedient. We don't listen to His voice. We don't pray. We stop reading His Word. And we need to be honest with ourselves. You know, we look at it's easy to lie to ourselves. But if we're not being honest, then we're not in true relationship with our Creator. So I
Exactly.
mean, that's helpful advice for all of us. Thank you for that today. Um, one question, Danny, about this whole subject is, you know, so if I'm talking to somebody or in relationship with somebody who I know is in recovery, and they have one of these deep hurts, are there recommendations for me? Do I just support the person in that? Do I give them advice on how to deal with that relationship? If it's a person who just can't get over it, so I have to deal with this, or is there, from the AA's point of view, is there something that would be really helpful in that circumstance?
Well, that's once again, I keep referring to the steps, but the steps saved my life, and they go in order. There's no elevator in AA. You take step one right to step 12, but one step at a time.
Mm,
But that's where the fourth and fifth step come in. You write down an inventory in your fourth, and basically an inventory is like a truck. You open the doors, what's in there? What's in that truck?
mm,
And the fifth step is when you share it with another human being and God. And to me, I chose to share it with my sponsor,
right.
because you talked about, should someone tell whoever, whatever. But my sponsor needs to know me, and he needs to know how I think, how I act, how I react.
Mm,
And he's a great man, and and I can't stress the importance of, like, church. A church guy, someone new to the church, might have a guy like yourself to mentor him through the Bible and do Bible studies and what have you. And that's the same thing like a sponsor. He mentors you through life,
mm,
and a lot of those poor me things in life, is something that a sponsor straight up, and he'll say, well, hey, Dan, were you there for her?
mm,
No, you know. So do you blame her for feeling the way she does? No, no, I don't. And I'm sure she has this hole in her heart that only God can fill. But I'm hoping that as time goes on, maybe just maybe I can slowly mend those fences. I'm not asking her to come live with me tomorrow, or whatever. And like I've said to her, why don't you come up and spend the summer here? And she's like, I don't know you. Why would I
mm,
do that?
yeah.
And I said, well, how else would you get to know me then? Unless you spent some time with me, right? So and so that's the greatest part of a sponsor. He doesn't kick you when you're down. He walks you through reality. And a lot of times in recovery, you hear the things you need to hear, but it's the stuff you don't really want to hear, if that makes any sense. you
Wow.
know because I'm not the victim here, my daughter is.
Yeah.
And because of my actions.
Yeah.
But once again, yeah, it's painful. And I got the serenity prayer, I have the acceptance prayer that I try to live by when I'm feeling hurt. Father's Day just passed. It was sad, but I made it. And once again, having that good support around you, is vital. Is
Yeah.
all I got. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with good people, and people who understand you, people who know you, people who love you.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time again, Danny, but that's probably a good place to end it right there. Is that she's the victim, and you're still interested in restoring the relationship. And the best way to do that is for you to stay clean and sober.
Well, one
And
day she might need me, and I'll be here for her, Don.
yeah, that's right. Okay, well, listen, folks, listening in on our conversations here. If you have any questions for either one of us, the email is thechurchguyandtheaddict@gmail.com. We've already got some questions that have been coming in that we're going to try to deal with in the next few sessions, so don't hesitate to shoot us an email. Thanks for your honesty and your transparency today, Danny. That was great. God
Thank
bless.
thank you. God bless you. Peace.
Exactly.